How often do we really reflect and think about the cause and effect of a certain situation in history? As humans, we often react to the results, but never really look at the cause. In World War One, it was a bloody and gory war from 1914 to 1918, and it caused the world to grow and change in many ways. The assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand is one of the most significant points in history, in my opinion, and it was the point that started this war. This event in history is very significant to me because it shows how one tragedy, can lead to a disaster, and to my audience it can be significant because it shows how we can grow as people and learn from our mistakes in history. And it is also significant to society because it shows what led to the creation of technology and weapons for our future that we use today. Let's dive into history. Wars have always interested me, but as we look at World War One and how it was sparked with the assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand, we come to some questions. Jesse Greenspan, author of The Assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand, on history.com, link in the description. She wrote this on June 26, 2014, and the article she states, with tensions already high, the assassination precipitated a descent into World War I. This shows that it was a tragedy, and as she stated, it led to the disaster of World War I, all from that one point. Here's a picture of Archduke being assassinated. It's an old picture, so it's a reenactment. It's kind of a drawing of the picture. Obviously, it was probably hard for them to get it in action. And then there's my website from Hungary today. I'll also have that link in the description. But as we look forward, a war, the disaster, was born from this tragedy. In Austria-Hungary, which he was the Archduke, the heir to that throne, blamed Serbia, and they could no longer come to a conclusion, even though the assassin was put 20 years behind bars and was allegedly connected to Serbia. Neither side could come to a conclusion, so they declared war, and even the U.S. was pulled into it later, in a big change for the entire world. Now that was why it's significant to me. Let's look at why it should be significant for you as the audience too. The cause and effect events in history are important for us as human beings to learn from for the future, even for our beneficial individual futures. We can learn from these to prevent anything from happening to us, from the mistakes from the past, and learning from those, and studying these type of events. The assassin was not connected to Serbia, but a criminal organization called the Black Hand. And according to Fid Backhouse from Britannica.com, in his article, Franz Ferdinand, Archduke of Austria-Este, on December 14, 2021, he wrote, "War easily could have been avoided with consultation from both countries." In the article, he also states protests and riots throughout Austria-Hungary in wake of the assassination became from that event. Now here's a picture of the assassin. And he was sentenced to 20 years. And there was also the link with that. And here's the link and also a picture of the riots that took place not soon after that war. I mean the assassination, not the war. There you go. Now, those are reasons that we can learn as people and individuals, for my audience, to reflect on certain things. And it doesn't just have to be this, to grow from it and learn how to be better in certain situations, because we see how this one tragedy leads to a disaster, and it could have been easily overcome with good consultation and handled correctly instead of riots and such. Now let's look at it from a societal standpoint, learning from these consequences and see how it benefits us today. The assassination led to World War I, as we know, and our society went on to create many great things. This is a positive side of what happened. From aerial warfare to napkins, yes, sanitary napkins, World War I was a time of invention, and all these things were invented. Of course, I don't think the assassination was good, but it allowed us to create these things. Things such as Eric Sass from mentalfloss.com, when he wrote the 12 technological advantages of World War One on April 30th, 2017, he listed the advantages: tanks, flamethrowers, poison gas, tranquilizer bullets, interferer gear, and so on. And it goes down to napkins. All these things were created, and of course I'm going to give you a visual. Here's some napkins from Zaxby's, to give them credit. But those things were created in this war. And it wouldn't have been, unless the assassination happened, the war would have never happened. And we would have never had these advances in what we see today and how it affects us today. Now, to be clear, my speech comes to an end. And I want to be clear that I think that it is the most significant event in history because of what it started and what it allowed us to create. And for you, I think that you can learn from the mistakes to grow. And for society, I think the benefits were awesome, and we learned and grew, and what we are today is from those events. Thank you very much.